Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amira, and for today's video we are going to do a little makeover. Well, not so little, it's actually a pretty big deal. A makeover to my TV unit. Now this is probably the third makeover I've given our TV unit in over like about 10 years. I mean, I love our TV unit. People can, replace them, buy a new one, but I love the power of paint. It just transforms a piece so much. And obviously, if you've been following my Instagram pages or my other YouTube videos, you'll know how much I love using paint. It's like a really budget-friendly way to give a piece, a new look, a refurbished look, and it honestly makes a whole lot of difference. So a little background about our TV unit, which I will turn you guys around and so you can see the current state of it. So initially it was a raw, or like not even raw, it was like one of those old wooden TV units, and we pretty much stripped it back years and years ago. We stripped it back, took off the stain, sanded it down to its original form, and then we painted it white. And we also added in some legs and some hidden caster wheels. Because it is a heavy piece, it just made it easy to kind of like move around whenever I needed to clean around the TV unit or behind it, or whenever, the little ones got their toys underneath it, it was just easy to just push it, just move it using the caster wheels that we installed. So yeah, that was the first makeover that we did, and it stayed white for a very long time. Up until a couple of years ago, I wanted to give it a little bit of color. So then we ended up painting it in Dolly paint. So obviously that was the time when I was introduced to Dolly paint, and it was just, yeah, I just wanted to paint everything in Dolly paints. And I mentioned this before, it just skips that whole elbow grease step of like sanding, and you just pretty much paint right on. So when we painted it white, there was just so many steps of sanding, priming, and then, the actual paint. Whereas with Dolly paints, it did make it a lot easier to transform the piece by just, give it a clean and then just painting it over. So that was really good. So the color that we ended up painting was in eucalyptus, and then I went over it in a dark brown wax to give it that little bit of a country aged finish. And now a couple years later, so present time, I'm going to take such a bold move. If you have been following me for a while, over on Instagram especially, then you would know how much I love my neutral tones. My neutral color palette is just something that it comes so naturally to me. I absolutely love it. It's just something that I automatically kind of get drawn to. However, over the past year, I've been slowly kind of like allowing my style to evolve. I've been trying to take these little risks and getting out of my comfort zone and just creating something that's really beautiful and unique in our home. And that, includes pretty much experimenting with bold colors. So one of the bold colors, well, not the one of the bold colors, but the bold color that I've gone for is black. Now, a lot of you will be like, oh my God, Amira using black in her home? Like, I need to see it to believe it, so keep watching. So the type of paint I'll be using is not Dolly paints. It's actually Porter's paints. I'll link it all in the description box. However, you'll think like when people say black paint, it's just black paint. But I had no idea that there was just so many kind of like shades and colors of black. So when I grabbed the color swatches for the paint in the black tones, there was just so many to choose from. And I did a little poll over on Instagram. So if you did take part of that poll, I ended up going for a black color called Black Cockatoo. I've seen kitchens, laundry rooms, random pieces painted in this color, and it is stunning. It's not a pitch midnight kind of black. It's got like a really kind of a nice greeny undertone that kind of shines through. And I was like, you know what, that is more me. I think more the pitch black is not really, you know, not really the style that I'm going for. I do want something that's still kind of like vintage, country, farmhouse style. So this color, hopefully it turns out how I expect and how I would love it to turn out, but that's the color that I was drawn to. And I haven't even opened up the can yet. I haven't even tested it, you know, a color sample on the TV unit or anything like that. So I'll be filming this entire video and just going along with it and sharing the whole experience with you guys. It kind of reminds me of my kitchen makeover when I filmed you know, a color that we painted and I didn't like it, then a week later we painted a whole different color. So if you haven't watched my kitchen makeover video, do head over to that. I literally vlogged the entire process, you know, the bad decisions, the mistakes, the regrets and all of that. And I feel like it's like a really great way to share with you guys that projects don't always go to, as you know, to plan, and that's okay. And that's something that I absolutely love about paint. It's just, if the color, you don't like it, it's as simple as just changing the color, which is, yeah, that's all it needs. And that's okay by me, as long as it's not something that needs elbow grease or using a lot of like energy to kind of like re-fix the mistake or the regret. And as long as it's just the paint color, then that's okay with me. I love experimenting with paint color. So that's enough of my rambling. I'm so excited. So the first thing I'm gonna do is pretty much empty the TV unit and then lay our drop cloth and pretty much get started. So if you guys wanna join me and see how this goes, then keep watching. Okay. So this is the color, the current color of the TV unit. It's eucalyptus, in the color eucalyptus, which is like a really soft greeny kind of color. And then we just went over it with like a brown protective wax coat to give it that age finish. So it's really pretty, I love it, but I think it's time for a change. I'm so excited. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, empty everything, and then kind of like bring it forward, and I'll show you just how easy. Using the wheels, so it just made it so easy to move it. And because we have floorboards, you know, it helps with not scratching the floor, you know, if we didn't have these caster wheels installed. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so first coat is officially done. It's already made such a big difference, oh my goodness. And the paint is so easy to work with. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's got like a satin finish, so it's like a really smooth consistency, and I'm sure like once we do the second coat, it's gonna be like really nice and smooth and seamless. So yeah, I'm gonna let that dry for about half an hour and then go ahead and do coat 2. But for now, I'm going to let that dry, and yeah, I'll see you guys in just a bit. So the final coat is on. It's almost fully dried. So now I'm going to be thinking about the hardware. Now, I have the original drawer hardware with these really beautiful iron hardware. So I'm conflicted as to, I've got these like brass gold knobs, which are pretty much the hardware that we have in our kitchen. I was thinking maybe just keeping it simple, or using the infamous rub and buff that I use so much, and pretty much using the original hardware that I had put onto this, and just using the rub and buff to kind of like give it that brass antique-y finish. I just gave him a lick of paint, which is the same color as the TV unit, and then I'm going to grab an artist brush and then just kind of like brush it over. They're almost dry, so I'm going to bring you guys closer to see how that looks, and then that way I'll be able to decide which kind of hardware to go for. So yeah. So that's how the handles turned out. I think I actually really like these, to leave them as opposed to just the brass simple knobs. But I'm gonna go ahead and install them and see how we go. So what I did, I just pretty much just brushed it on as you've seen. And then if I felt like it was too brass, then I'll just dip the artist brush in a little bit of the paint, and then just kind of like blend it in. Yeah, no right or wrong way of doing it, but yeah, turns out pretty. If I don't end up using them for the TV unit, then I know I can use them for another project. And we're all done. I am so in love with it. Such a bold makeover. So this is how the original hardware turned out, by just painting them and using the rub and buff. I'm still like deciding whether if I want to go for more like gold brass hardware, or just to keep it more subtle like this, but that's no problem. Like I've got the hardware at home, so I can just kind of like play around with it and see how I go. But for now, I've just put these ones on. So now for the fun bit, to style it up so I can take a few photos, but that's pretty much done. I am so happy with it. Such a bold statement. I can't get over it, especially this big wall behind it, and it's just, yeah, it's just like, wow, bam, look at me. I'm gonna go ahead and style it up, and let's see how it goes. And we are all done. Thank you so much for watching. Please do share this with your friends and family if you think that this will help and benefit them. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.